Um, so this week we talked about biotechnology and just the general history and the ideas, how it came about, how we figured out how chromosomes and DNA and rDNA manipulation and all that stuff has been used for years, like subconsciously or unconsciously, I guess, like just when evolving and like breeding plants and animals, because I mean we're obviously going to go for the best traits in whatever we're farming. And um, I just think it's pretty cool, honestly. um, I think the whole science around it is pretty neat. It's pretty fascinating. And I think that just the fact that we're able to do half that stuff is just amazing in and of itself. Like um, I think um, there's a lot of cool stuff we can use it for. I thought gene therapy was really interesting. Um, like that, I know this might be like a little bit like a lot. Some people might not agree, but I feel like gene therapy, and if we can um, genetically modify to where certain diseases are uh, like phased out in the human gene pool, like just general diseases that we just don't need around anymore. I think that's something that will eventually happen. I like the fact that I thought it was pretty interesting that we can actually change the DNA of the crops so that they automatically give you some immunizations. I think that's really cool. I think that should definitely be like a more widespread thing. I know some people don't like vaccines or whatever, but I mean, if it comes in from a plant, I think that's pretty worth it to me. I mean, a lot more people are likely to the eat the vaccine than just like go out and get the shots or whatever. And I mean, if the technology is there, why not just make the population healthier as a whole? Uh, I don't know. Some things about GMO plants, I feel like we still have to see what like the health implications is going to be about, because recently I have seen a lot of comparisons to stuff from Europe, and like it's like 50 times as big whatever we're buying. I think uh, I mean we're just going to have to wait and see what that does to our health or whatever, to really understand like if we should or should not have GMO foods. But I mean, if it's not hurting anybody right now and we're able to eat that healthy, I see no problem with having GMO foods. Um, I can understand why the European, the EU doesn't want GMO foods, but it's a lot easier said than done to ban GMOs, because I imagine it'll probably have to take a big economy dip for something like that to occur. I feel like GMO foods are just a big part of the food economy, if that makes sense. It'll hurt the jobs of farmers and just companies as a whole. So um, I don't know. I th- I think that the on the farm or whatever it's called, I thought most of them were pretty cool. I didn't see no problem with the cows or whatever. As long as the cows are like healthy and they can still just be like a normal cow, but just like big as hell, and we can get more food, then I think that's pretty worth it. Can feed a lot more people for a cheaper price. If we don't get no health side effects, it's even better. If they can make it like more nutritious, like with better macros or whatever, it's pretty awesome. Um, what else? I thought all of the animals on there were pretty reasonable. Like, there's no reason for us not to make those big old salmons. Like, if it's not hurting the fish and I mean, it's not like the guy looks like he's like being an evil scientist and stuff like that, then I feel like it's fine. It's whatever. Just more food for us. I did kind of think that the glowing um, rabbits were kind of dumb. I don't really see the point of doing that, but I mean, the chickens were pretty cool. Like it could increase farming, so I could see why we could do that. But yeah, I don't know. It really depends on a lot of things. What's okay with uh biotechnology? There is certain things where I'm like, that is kind of playing God. Like once we start bringing back stuff and like cloning them, I think that's going a little far. I think bringing back extinct species is playing God, but at the same time, that's pretty cool. I mean, I'd want to see like dinosaurs or some cool like woolly mammoths or something back. Like I think that's a incredible feat of science. So it's really hard to like pick a good stance, but I mean, I think biotechnology is largely really good for the way that society's trending. I think xenotransplantation is like honestly the future and should be looked into more. I think stem cells are really good. Um, I, I feel like stem cells could help a lot of people. Just generally, like um, I think xenotransplantation. Like if we're gonna be making all those pigs, if we're gonna be having all those like pigs or whatever, and like we can have hundreds and thousands of pigs that we're eating like every day. There's no reason for us to just be like, yeah, I'll put like some person's heart that needs it and then grow that heart. I think that's really useful. I think that's going to save millions of lives. I could see why some religions wouldn't like to use them, like especially like people from like the Middle East who are like Muslim and stuff like that. Maybe Jewish people wouldn't have a in like opposed stance to that, but at the same time, I feel like organ donation is never going to go away. I feel like there's obviously always going to be a market because um, the human body's pretty delicate. So I mean, it'll just mean that either way, a lot more people are saved because the list of actual human donors won't have to be as extensive as it's more likely that they'll be like, sure, if you can just grow me up a heart, like I'll take it. And I feel like if you put like 2 out of 3 people, they'll say yes, which is really good odds for humanity. I mean, that saves a lot of people and just makes the quality of life for people a lot better. But you do kind of toe the line of eugenics and stuff like that. Um, just because there are some things that I think should be like um taken out of the gene pool. I think the kid with the skin disease was pretty bad. I felt pretty bad for him. If we can find a way to like detect that stuff early on, I say if people are inclined to not have that kid because the kid is gonna have a really bad life, in my opinion, I'd feel guilty if I brought a kid like that into the world. But I could see why a lot of people would be on the other end of that argument. But that's kind of where you start towing the line of what's right and wrong. Like I said, eugenics, like you can get kind of dicey with that when we're manipulating genes. I mean, it's all gonna depend on whoever's in charge of the research and stuff. But I think if we can take out diseases and just help the quality of life of people, like before or after birth, I think that's a really good thing that we can do. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts that I had over this week's chapter.